Interjection here, Nation of Warriors with a 1v1 commentary. Now, I don't know which one this is. I actually have a few videos ready to go up. The only issue is my internet speed. I live in a village, a British village, where my upload speed is just horrific. Now, just before we get into the commentary, I wanted to mention that I do record quite a few games with the intention of turning them into commentaries, but for almost every game I play, I always find some reason, just something which makes me feel like I can't upload it. For example, in this game, there's actually a really big newbie mistake I make. I'll point it out later. Or, again, in this game, my opponent's a few levels lower than me, and he's a little bit of a noob at sometimes. So that doesn't really make a great video, and it makes me look bad for playing someone lower. And then, or then a game might be just really boring, or it lasts too long, and again, there's usually horrific mistakes in it. But with every game, I always find something like that, so I've decided, fuck it, the problem isn't the recordings, it's the fact that I don't upload enough, and I'm just being too much of a perfectionist, really. Whilst I'm on the subject of perfectionist, I'm actually only a level 28 captain, so there's definitely better people out there than me. I am by no means a great player. I'm very, very standard indeed, so I really shouldn't be striving for perfection, because it's just not going to happen. And to be fair, I actually watch quite a few commentaries myself, and I recorded games as well, and I learn more from games that do have mistakes, because you get to see how that player would react to that mistake, and how they counter problems, and that generally just makes me better than watching a perfect game. Because how often do you play a perfect game? Like, it's always like mistakes, and learning how to not make those mistakes, or learning how to counter or not do those mistakes is probably more useful, because hardly any game you play will ever be perfect. Anyway, I am playing Portuguese, my opponent is playing Dutch. This is a 1v1 on the Hispaniola. This is the Hispaniola map. This is a quick search game, and notice how I am aging up at 1 minute 37 seconds. Now, I actually only have 10 settlers. I collected all my food crates and left all of the wood crates and coin crates on the floor, because the idea here is I can do what is called a 10-10, which is 10 settlers. The other reference to 10 in that, I don't know what that means, but the idea is I age up as fast as possible to have an extremely aggressive start. Now, I'm going to ruin it now. This strategy is actually a semi-fast fortress, but it has a very interesting, obviously, I'm going to kind of rush them at the start, as everyone likes to seem to put it. And this map is perfect for it, because you start with a shit ton of crates, more so than normal maps, which is why I was able to collect 800 food so quickly and get that age up in queue. There's enough wood there for a house, and I'll have 200 wood for my barracks straight off. So right here, I'm killing off this explorer, because obviously I want that 45 XP, and then my opponent won't have an explorer, but I give up on it. There's no point pursuing enemies too close to the town centre, and the further I get to that town centre, the more shots I'm going to have to take, because obviously I'm walking towards it, and then I have to walk away from it as well, so I probably lose my own explorer, and it's just not worth it. As you can see here, very close to aging now at this 2 minutes 50 into the game, sending those two forward settlers to build that barracks here, and I'm going to be training musketeers like as soon as the barracks is up. That house there, you can see I'm trying to place a house. I'm not actually placing it, I'm just using it to gauge where the limit is, because you can't build two buildings too close to your opponent's town centre, so that is actually helping me know where the limit is, where that radius extends to, and then I build that barracks there, which is as close as I can get it to my opponent's base. Now, I'm sending my town centre and playing Portuguese, so when you age up, you get a free town centre, and I'm building that as close to my opponent there as I possibly can as well. I'm placing it there because it gives me a little bit more map control. I can have some huntable animals. Obviously, there's not many on this map. You only get turkeys, and then there's berry bushes, but still, map control is great. That's what I want it there for. And then obviously I've got that barracks there, which is really close. I'll be training musketeers now from it. Can get them in a little bit quicker. I should have been on that barracks pressing the musketeer button before it was even built, so that as soon as it was built, I get the first one in, because every second counts, especially when you're playing a rush so fast as this. Here, my first shipment is 700 food. That's to help with the musketeer spam. I do build a market as well. As you can see there, hunting dogs is a really good 10% is amazing, especially since I have so few settlers. I only have 10. Obviously, I've got 11 now. I just trained one, and the 12th one is in production. The problem, this newbie mistake I was talking about earlier, though, is this town centre here. It had to walk around the entire map just to get there, like, rather than go straight, like, past my barracks and then towards that location where it's being built. But it took age. I think the problem is, though, Nothing can fit through. Here's another newbie mistake. I wasn't looking. I could have got that settler I was shooting there. I could have got a volley of shots in sooner, and then I would have got a second volley of shots in, or I might have done. The problem was I wasn't looking, and that is a big newbie mistake, that when you're rushing with something like this, where everything depends on killing settlers early on, it's just not viable to not be looking, and that was just a stupid mistake. And that is another one of the reasons I might not have uploaded the video. Okay, so I've got the 8 crossbowmen shipment in production. I should have settlers rolling as well, but the 8 crossbowmen I'm going to ship to that town centre, to my forward town centre, and they will join the rest of my army. Here I wasn't looking again, could have had another settler. It's just not viable. Why am I doing that? I don't know. This is, obviously, as I said, it's a semi-fast fortress, but the problem is to confuse the fuck out of your opponent. That's what I'm going to be doing. I want to attack him, rush him, make him think I'm doing some crazy Rambo rush. I do get 1 settler in there. Quite nice, but I only have 6 musketeers now. Considering I trained 10, I lost 4, that's 400 resources gone, and the only thing I've gained from that is killing 1 settler. I could have had 3. But I don't know, might not have had 3, it might have been less. And you see those 8 crossbowmen right there? I shipped them to my original town centre because I forgot to change the fucking spawn point. And that is another newbie mistake, which is why I wouldn't upload this video. Because you know, I'm being a completely... Anyway, this is a semi-FF. My next shipment will be 700 coin. On another map, which has trading posts, I might send 700 wood, because then I can get a few trade... I was going to say upload a few trading posts. You can't upload trading posts. Anyway, I was going to build a few trading posts, because that's nice for the XPs to roll in. You get some shipments going on here. As you can see with these musketeers, I'm remaining quite close to his base, because walking away, I could siege that bank, but there's no point. I'd never bring it down, so I'm not going to bother. Here we go, sending that 700 coin. Anyway, I'm staying fairly close, because I want to keep him on the edge. I want to stop his... when those crossbowmen arrive, I think they're almost there. They're going to kill those 2 settlers. I'm just kind of keeping him on the edge. I'm trying to, like, force his settlers to stop working, make him put his settlers in the town centre, or make him switch his resource gathering point, walk them around. Just waste as much time as I can for him. I've got quite a lot of settlers in queue because I need to catch up on the settler production, so I think I train like another 10 or something before I age up, another 15 settlers. Double town centre production really does help. That 700 food at the start also kind of helps, although you do end up spending it on musketeers. As you can see, I still haven't managed to get many settlers. This strategy isn't very viable unless you can kill a few settlers. You think about how many men I lost from just town centre fire, and the amount of settlers I actually killed wasn't many. Although with regards to actually killing things, okay, I didn't do a very good job, but at the same time, I'm not entirely... This player probably hasn't seen such a crazy Portuguese strategy before. Me being very quick on the rush here. We have skirmishes, so good move there. I'm not gonna walk in, and that's it for me. I'm thinking, fuck, because I haven't done enough early damage, and I've kind of ruined my own economy. That is the problem with this strategy. It's very kind of... you might want to call it a noob strategy or a troll strategy. If you've heard of Azamk, very good, very good player, Vest, a very nice guy. He this is kind of his strategy. I kind of took it from him. I won't say adapted it because it's very similar still. Anyway, that's not the point. I just wanted to reference him there. That's where this came from. Hunting dogs going up there now. Should have had that much earlier. Should have had the hunting dogs in there when the market was built. As soon as the market was built, there you go. There's another newbie mistake. I'm not going to walk around trying to kill settlers anymore with these crossbowmen, with these musketeers right here, because he now has skirmishers, and that would be a waste of units. But anyway, as I was saying, he's probably not seen a strategy like this before, so he's probably on the defensive now. I don't know if he was intending to fast fortress. I thought he would, because that's what most Dutch players do. And it's very good for them to fast fortress on the Hispaniola, because they don't really need trading posts, whereas other civilizations do for their fast fortresses. Obviously, the Dutch FF is funded more so by its banks than it is by XP and shipments. Obviously, shipments help. So right here, I see that going up there. I sent my troops round the back. I wanted to kill the settlers as they were building that dock, but obviously they finished the dock first, and then the skirmishers turned up, and I was like, fuck that shit, not going in there. So here, obviously I've been aging for a while now. I chose the 6 Castor age up, and normally on the Great Plains I would also send 600 wood, but then I'd have trading posts, so I'd have another shipment by now, whereas I don't here. So the 600 wood, obviously in age 2, that's for my houses, perhaps another military building. Yeah, because I had so many early troops early on, my opponent probably thinks I'm rushing or I'm having a colonial agenda, especially if you look at my deck. I specifically designed my deck or kind of stole Azam's deck and adapted it slightly to look as if I am having a colonial agenda. Well, actually, no. Yeah. And in fact, I'm having a fortress agenda. I'm going to the fortress age. It's a semi-FF. And that confuses them, and then they probably go on the defensive thinking you're going to be placing a more aggressive strategy, when in fact you're not. You're just sitting back, collecting resources, yeah, chilling, and then you suddenly age up, and they're like, oh, fuck. Obviously that doesn't happen with every player. I'll upload another video to demonstrate how badly wrong this goes, or perhaps another video where my opponent is more adaptable and perhaps knows what to do. Anyway, this town centre placement here, placing it towards the coast near his dock, because I know I'll be fishing, and town centres have a huge, absolutely huge anti-ship damage, so I'll be able to stunt his fishing operation quite easily just by placing that there. That was the intention, though it doesn't go quite to plan. As you can see here, I now have 6 Cassadors, which I aged up with, 8 Cassadors, which I just shipped, which have just arrived now, 5 Cassadors, which I trained from that barracks, which means I have, I think, 19 veteran Cassadors right there. Now, Cassadors are extremely good units. They have a higher attack. They have the highest ranged damage out of all Nilla infantry, or Nilla ranged infantry, and they have I think they have a larger range than skirmishers. You can actually hit and run skirmishers, not entirely sure on that point though. Anyway, just before I continue, that town centre there being sieged, that was the problem. There was another problem with this game. He had 2 caravels to well, they're bringing the town centre down. Anyway, in the end, the town centre does get up eventually. As you can see here, now it's sieging back, and I do manage to keep the town centre with just a few hit points. Okay, so Cassadors also have, well, they only have 85 hit points, which is awful, absolutely terrible, but they have a 60% ranged damage resist, so that's absolutely insane. Perhaps the most overpowered infantry in the game, although they were nerfed in the Asian dynasties. Okay, as you can see here, a lot of Cassadors with a 60% ranged resist, therefore means they have no, and very few hit points means they're very, very easily killed by cavalry, and for that reason I'm now shipping halberdiers. I think I'm being a little bit reckless now, considering you could have 5 hussars and that would make absolutely destroy me. This boat has very few hit points, so I decide I'll just go in and finish it off, and there we go, it's dead. Nice that he doesn't have them. And then I decide I'll siege the stable, but then think to myself, no, because 5 hussars will pop and I'll be absolutely fucked. So you see those 3 Cassador walking past my opponent's base, so that's not good. They're taking those 5 Cassadors from the barracks taking shots, and I'll have less than that, and it's just a waste of resources, really. There you go. I would have continued to train halberdiers. Perhaps I should have shipped halberdiers first. I don't know. Anyway, as I say, I'll upload another video of this very same strategy without all the talking.